Well, we knew the trailer was coming soon, and earlier today, Sony gave us our first look at Kraven the Hunter. Let's dive into the new trailer, break down all the footage, what works, what doesn't, and where this new Sony Spiderverse feature is headed. Well, earlier today, we got a couple of stills from the Kraven the Hunter trailer, and this led Sony Pictures to go ahead and drop the full trailer on social media. Now, the trailer does reveal a lot and seems to align pretty tightly with that CinemaCon description we got a couple of weeks ago, so let's dive into it, break it down, and talk a little bit about what's going on. Now, the trailer begins with teenage versions of both Kraven and his brother Alexei, along with their father, Russell Crowe. Now, it's established pretty early that Crowe's character is absolutely heartless, and as it progresses, they are taken on a hunt. When Kraven refuses to shoot a lion and is attacked, his father leaves him behind for dead, but the animal's blood appears to be the source of his powers, which is quite divergent from what goes on in the comics, where he got his powers from ingesting a potion made of jungle herbs. Now, it appears to do a bit of a time jump forward a few years, and then we see Kraven operating as some kind of vigilante. As a matter of fact, in the trailer, he uses the line, "My father puts evil into the world, I take it out." And we see him taking down what appears to be poachers and criminals, using various handheld weapons and demonstrating the new and unique powers that he has. Now, we do find out that his brother, played by Alessandro Navoli, does indeed become the supervillain known as Rhino. But we only get a little glimpse of the Rhino's arm and not the fully formed creature, although we do get to hear it. We also get a quick glimpse at Christopher Abbott as the Foreigner, and most importantly, a quick shot of Kraven in his comic-accurate costume, which should lead to a lot of relief from many people because that was something that clearly wasn't working on the earlier release shots. I think my favorite comment from that video was, "It looked like a clearance sale from a Renaissance festival." Now, there was a lot of good stuff in this trailer. The action looked absolutely great, but I will say some of his more animal movements were wonky, with Kraven bouncing off the walls and taking down opponents in kind of animal poses. Now, the action was brutal and violent, like Kraven should be, and the film seems to have earned its R rating. Now, the quick glimpse we got at the classic suit, for me, did work. We haven't seen it in action yet, and I do fear that will be the costume we see in the very last scene of the movie, and not the staple throughout the feature. Now, we did see him use some powers, connecting his mind to animals, and I thought this was a cool addition, but for me, it absolutely invoked the 1980s movie Beastmaster. How these powers work on film, I'm gonna have to wait and see, but I do hope it adds an element to the movie that was unexpected. Now, there were a couple things that didn't work. I'm still unsure about the lion blood origin. We're assuming that's the origin, at least based on what we saw, and that is a big diversion from the classic character. Now, there's a big change to the Rhino, because in the comics, it's not his brother. His brother is actually the Chameleon. But I do think I understand why this change could have been made narratively, but I feel like it would have been better just to include the Rhino in the story and still have his brother keep to the classic role. Additionally, the trailer felt, well, Morbius-like. I mean, to be fair, the Morbin Time trailer wasn't bad, and actually highlighted some of the best moments in the movie. So what I partially fear is that's what we're getting with this trailer, and basically everything good that's to be had, we're actually seeing in the trailer itself. This is something that Sony does, and hopefully not what's happening with Kraven. Now, along with the trailer, we also got a new poster, giving us a really clear look at the comic-accurate costume that hopefully Kraven dons for the better part of the movie. Let's go ahead and check that out. Now, Aaron Taylor Johnson really does look pretty good in the role, and honestly, I hope this movie works. I never wish for anybody to fail, and Sony has had their share of stumbles, and I'm really hoping this movie delivers on all fronts and gets fans a little more interested in what they're trying to do with some of their Spider-Man villains. This was always a bit of a stretch, focusing on Spider-Man's villains instead of heroes, but Kraven is a great pick from the Rogues Gallery to kind of ride the line, and Aaron Taylor Johnson seems to be embodying the role pretty good, so maybe it'll drive fans to the theaters. The film is set for an October 6th release, so we still have about 4 months before the film comes out. I do suspect we'll get another trailer, probably not at Comic-Con, and more than likely in late August or early September, leading us up to the release of the film. When we get to see more of Kraven the Hunter, well, we're gonna have to wait and see.